This video is going to go over how to do revolve on Autodesk Inventor. Now, I've posted quite a few revolves on Fusion 360, and it's actually nearly identical. There's only a few small differences between the two programs, but I am going to show you how to do revolve number 2 and 3 because they're almost identical on Autodesk Inventor. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to open a part. I'm going to open a sketch here. I'm going to start on this plane. And one thing I want to point out is I have a center axis that I'm going to revolve around, but I also have a space between the profile and the axis. That means there's going to be a big hole in the middle of this. And actually, a lot of these problems also have that hole. So be sure you are aware of that and you are engineering that into your design. Axis, space, profile. I'm going to go ahead and I just got out of my sketch. Reopen sketch number 1. And I'm going to put my axis first. I'm going to put it right on the origin. Usually that is the best way to do it. Keep your axis on your origin so then you can use the origin planes and axes later. Usually the best thing you can do. I'm going to do it solid right now. Then I'm going to come back later and create my cut. Let's see, this guy should be flat, so I'm going to put in a perpendicular here. Okay, now let's put in my dimensions. This is 1 inch. The height of this guy is 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch. Same with this dimension. And I know from this line, so from this line to this line is 0.275. These other dimensions are going to be used for the second sketch. So don't try and smash them all in one if you can help it. Simple is good. Now you're going to run into a problem where you can't fully constrain your sketch because you have these endpoints. Well, the easiest thing to do is to use a horizontal to lock the endpoints into your design. It's usually by far the easiest. Okay, what am I missing here? I'm missing this 0.250 or a 1/4 inch. That essentially is the radius of the hole. So the diameter of the hole is going to be a 1/2 inch. I am now fully constrained. I can see my push pin and it tells me down here. So now I can revolve it. Now usually it picks up what you want to revolve. As you can see, I already picked my profile. And right now that blue underline is asking me for the axis. So select your axis, hit OK, and here is your line. Now to do the cut, we are going to use one of the origin planes, and we have to find one that's going to cut it right in half. And it's usually easiest to reuse the same one that you started with, which for me is the XY plane. So select that. And now here's one thing that's slightly different than Fusion. If I right click, I can go to Slice Graphics, and it's going to slice this solid body right down to the plane I selected. So this makes it really easy for me to see what I'm working on. All right, I kind of have this V thing going on here. Make sure you enclose it. And that didn't work quite right, so I can coincident on there. Now I have some dimensions here. So from the bottom line to that line is 20, and the same here. So line, angle, 20 degrees. Line, angle, 20 degrees. Now, really the only difference with revolve number 3 is that it gives you a 40 degrees in the middle and some slightly different dimensions, and the thing is turn 90 degrees. But other than that, it is almost the same exact problem. Now to get this 0.05 that you see here, what you're going to want to do is click on the line and then click on the point, the end point of that angled line. Do that for both sides. Line, end point of angled line. 0.05, I'm fully constrained and ready to revolve cut. Now it should pick up my profile. And then I just have to select the axis, which it disappeared. So actually I'm going to go back in here and redraw my axis because it's hidden in sketch number 1. I could turn sketch number 1 on, but I am just going to, I could also import and see if I can import the sketch. No, I could use one of the, since I created my axis on the origin, I can use one of these origin axes as well. That's definitely an option. Let's see what I can do here. I can also put in a line. right on the axis again. So now that line is in the current sketch I'm working on. And I'm still fully constrained because I use endpoints that were existing. Revolve again. Now this time I didn't figure it out, so I have to tell it, but I'm going to do revolve cut. And for my axis, I'm going to choose that one I just created. I'm at 360. It doesn't matter which direction I go. It's going all the way around. And there is the cut. So you can see the cut there. So essentially it's like a little pulley, like an automotive pulley. And that is how we do revolve number 2. And it, honestly, it's almost exactly the same as revolve number 3. As a shortcut, since you listen this long, what you can do is just go back in and edit a few of these, save it as number 3, and you will be good to go. Save you a little time because you watched the whole video. Congrats.